Morning. I'm back again with how to create a blog entry. And I put this up last week, but in working with our clients in the last week or so, I've come up with some new things that will help you with your SEO, help you with making your site more usable, and help you with making your site look consistent. So here's the blog entry I created last week, and I'm going to edit it. It's basically the same thing as creating a new one. So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to click on it, and I'm using Drupal here, but this can be used with WordPress or Joomla or most of the blogs that people are using these days. So here's my blog entry, and the editing and the creating interface are generally the same. So the first thing you should do is create a title that's a little bit catchy, but describes what you're doing. So I have how to create a blog entry, and I'm gonna get rid of the in Drupal because we are creating a blog entry. They're all pretty much the same. And so the tags are basically keywords that can be used to jump around your site to find like content. And they can be, some people put them in like tag clouds over here where it would be like Drupal. So if you wanted stuff about Drupal, you'd come here. If you wanted stuff about blogs, you'd click on blogs. And it gives the people a quick understanding of what your blog is about. Down here in the body is where we write our content. Now, I recommend writing your content inside the blog because then you know what it's going to look like. If you bring it in from Word and you use paste from Word, it's going to keep your formatting, but it's also a lot of times going to mess things up and force you to do more steps than what is needed. Most blogs now have spell checking, so that's really not a problem anymore. And this way, if you format it some way, you know how it's going to look immediately. And this break here is the next step. So once you have all your content done, you noticed on the front page, it was a very small paragraph area where your teaser, which this is what's going to end up in our teaser area. And to create a teaser, we have this neat little button here, and wherever we put it, click it, and it's going to put that little break in. And when that's going to tell your website, only show this part on the blog page and on like the front page if your blog's on the front page. And so now we have our content ready. And the next step is to check what the URL path is going to be. Now this is useful for SEO. So you want the site's either going to automatically put in your title, which in our case would be how to create a blog entry, and put a bunch of hyphens between it and make that your URL path, or it's going to put in like node/3, node/36, something weird like that. So I always like to make my own path. It's shorter, it's quicker. If someone bookmarks it, it's obvious what it's talking about. So take a second and look for that. And before you post anything, you should always preview your content. So I think I like how it looks, but I want to make sure everything's how it should be. And the trim version this is where I put my teaser break, if you remember. So this is the version that's going to show up on your where all your blogs are listed and your front page. And here are my keywords, and then here's the full version. So this is how it's going to look. It all looks good to me, so I think we're ready to post. So come down here and I save it. Now I recommend you look at, this is how it's going to look on the page, and I recommend you take a minute and look at the blog page as well as the front page to make sure it looks right. So here's my entry. Looks right. And here it is on the front page. Looks right. Now if it wasn't right, we can quickly just grab it, hit edit again, If it's really messed up, you can quickly unpublish it. So you have publishing options, and this is going to be pretty much consistent across the WordPresses of the world and the other CMS sites in Drupal. And you just unpublish it and it's safe. But I'm actually happy with this, so I'm not going to do that. But there's one last step before I let you go away from my video. Most sites now have these share buttons. And these are cool because this is, if you spend a lot of time getting people following you on Twitter, or if your Facebook page has a bunch of your users or your members, if you're using this for an association or a club, you can easily tell them about your writing. Just click on it. And this is going to connect to my Archipect Twitter account. It's got a pretty cool, that looks about how I want it. It takes me about 2 seconds to do. And there we go. I've just shared it on Twitter. If I want to share it on other things, they're right here. I want to email it to someone, it's right here. And that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a nice holiday. Memorial Day is coming up, so I'll have something for you again next week.